Hi, in this tutorial I'll try to explain new features and improvements in BlueARP versions 2.5.0 to 2.5.2. You can find the detailed list of changes in the changelog.txt file, which is inside the zip package. I updated it, and there are quite a lot of changes here, but mostly GUI related and workflow related improvements, along with some bug fixes and two main big features. It's drum sequencer mode, as it says, to sequence drums, and it's here, we'll check it later, and chain variations, kind of sub chains on top of chains, which we'll also check later in the video. And first I want to talk about the minor things, and then we'll check these big features. The first GUI improvement is that now these value selection boxes all have right-click menus. So now to select the value from the list, you have to right-click it. And you see the currently selected value is marked with this checkbox just for convenience. And reset sets it to the default value. For some controls it will be steppy selection, like with 10% increments here, but still you can adjust the value with either these increment and decrement buttons or the old way. Click and drag it up or down, or place the mouse over the control and use the mouse wheel to adjust the value. Then we have custom right-click menus for the current chain and for the program. And basically there are some changes here, but basically they replicate the menus you can get from the main menu button. Like this is what you can do with the program and what you can do with the chain. And I replicated it here for the sake of convenience, for fast editing and making things like copy paste and duplicate faster. And now you can also click and drag this chain number label. It works just as a value box, and also you can automate it. I double checked, it works. It's parameter number 8 current program. And also there is a handy option here called clone till the last. I'm not sure it's the best name for it, but what it does, it will kind of copy paste the current program into all the remaining slots. So if I make it, you can see now all my programs starting from 9 are the same as was the program 8. And the programs to the left, they were not altered by this. So yeah, if you need to create kind of a template bank with the same program all over the bank in all the slots, this is the easy way to do this. And to show the chains, the same stuff, I can copy paste, duplicate, insert initial, and clone till the last. As with the programs, it will clone the chain into all the remaining slots here. And as for the chains, there is a bit easier to edit the long chains. I'll show it in the kind of new project. For example, I have the long chain, like chain 1 here. Let's add another program here. And first, when the playback is stopped, just clicking on the program sequence box with the program number will immediately switch to that program. So no need to scroll to it manually like it worked before. And while I'm changing the program, it resets the chain. So now no need to do that. I just clicking here on the program sequence box will bring me to that program. And another thing is when I have this long program sequence and I want to edit a particular program within the chain, I'm clicking this page lock checkbox, and it will keep playing this active page over and over. And moreover, if I click to another program sequence box, it will switch to that program and it will keep locked until I uncheck this box. So this is a handy way to edit long chains and long patterns. And now let's move to the two main big features: drum sequencer mode and chain variations. Drum sequencer mode is this operation mode parameter, and when you switch to drum sequencer, it will give a warning that switching operation mode will erase all programs, because the program structure is a bit different for the drum sequencer. And here we have the GUI changes apparently to match this new functionality. And basically what we have here is these 6 drum lanes. Each drum lane has the configurable set of drum notes, up to 5 notes. And you can change that. This initial setup is based on the general MIDI drum note mapping, and you can change that depending on the synth you have. So each lane can trigger one of these 5 notes for each step of the sequence. You can change velocities here. It's the velocity lane. You can do some additional stuff like dynamics and randomization, probability, trigger probability, which we'll check a bit later in the video. And now it's easier to show you by example. I have this simple drum pattern here, which sounds like this. And just to give you the idea, let's start from the initial program. It's completely silent now because I have nothing here on the lanes. So let's start with the kick. So this is my kick, and I can change the note this way by just scrolling. When the playback is stopped, when I scroll, it will immediately trigger that note so I can hear what I'm selecting. So I have my kick. Let's add snare. Now hi-hats. Just randomly selecting the notes. I can change the let's make something. These checkboxes, I can use them to mute or unmute the lanes. And by right-clicking, I can solo any lane I want. And if I solo, when I switch to another lane, it will kind of move with that lane. For example, toms here. And it duplicates this checkbox, this drum lane solo and active. It basically duplicates this checkbox. So here, for example, for the kick, if I click this, if I uncheck this, this one is unchecked as well. They are linked. I can do drum rolls like this way. So here, roll. Let's clear it here. Sorry, let's remove the toms. And for example, I have. Sorry, here I should have note 1. So this is my snare, and roll on note 1. It will just create a roll with different speed. Yeah. Let's turn on back all the lanes. What else I can do? I have this dynamics control, and it will now let's just check what it does. It kind of controls the velocity of all the drum notes, and I can switch it off for certain lines. For example, if I switch it off for snare and kick and leave it only for the hi-hats, it will kind of control the volume of my hi-hats. Next, what I can do, the percussion. Let's set all the steps to random, and what it will do, and I'll solve this line for a while, it randomly triggers one of these 5 notes. And now the fun part, let's decrease the probability to somewhere around 70%. So now this note triggers only 70% of the time. And also I can randomize velocity a little bit, just a slight touch. So now I can add this random variation to my steady rhythm and make it kind of less repetitive. So I think one of the coolest stuff, one of the coolest features here is this random with probability trigger alongside with a steady rhythm you can create here with kick, snare and hi-hats. And now again I can control it with this dynamics control, so now it's active only for the percussion, and now reducing dynamics will bring down the volume of this percussion lane, keeping the rest like hi-hats and kick and snare unchanged. So yeah, this is the cool stuff you can do with the drum sequencer mode. The rest of the controls is nearly the same as for the arpeggiator mode. Like you see, input quantize, input range filter, it works basically the same. And now let's talk about chain variations on top of drums. Chain variation is basically chain within the chain, which can be triggered by the predefined conditions. And what I have here, I have this program number 1 drum loop, which sounds like this. I have what I call lightweight drum fill. So the drum fill but not too intense, and I have kind of the more intense drum fill. And what I did here with the chain variations, you can see I can have up to 3 chain variations. Each chain variation has its own program sequence lane. It's triggered by the set of conditions, and we get here by clicking this button. Variation 1 will be triggered when my root note is E. This is the way it works. So once I press a chord with E or a single E note, it will trigger this variation 1. And I can I have a choice of options here, for example, input keys that I press or do not press, velocity, aftertouch. And there's not only equal condition possible. I have options like not equal, greater or equal, less or equal, in range, not in range. For the variation 2, there is additional condition, root node E plus the highest velocity greater or equal 112. Highest velocity means maximum velocity of the pressed keys. And now let's listen how it sounds. Basically, it's me playing A, and yeah, it doesn't matter which key I press now because I don't have the melodic line. The melodic line is here. This is my bass line. And the usual way I set up BlueARP in FL Studio, I have this master track which feeds two of these BlueARPs, and then they go into the Canvas VA. This plugin, it's multi-channel and it has drums on channel MIDI channel 10, as it usually works with general MIDI. You can see on drums it's settings, MIDI output channel 10, bass goes to channel 2. Yeah, so let's bring to the front this BlueARP for drums, and let's play the master channel. So now I have drums with the bass playing A, now I'm playing F, and now playing E. And I have this lightweight drum fill. And now, since I press harder, I have this heavy drum fill. So this way I can play several patterns without switching the chains. This is quite cool addition, I think. And with the bass, it works the same, but I have only one chain variation for the chain 1. And these dots, they apparently represent which chain variations out of 3 are kind of not initial. And for the channel variation 1, I have root node E condition. I have just one variation for the bass, for the fill. So this is A, and this is E, a bit denser pattern for the bass. This is how you use drum sequencer mode and chain variations in BlueARP. And chain variations can be used just the same way in arpeggiator mode, like in drum sequencer mode, as we see here with the bass, for example. Another small GUI improvement is that now it has 175% scaling option, and maximum available is 300%, because on some screens, sub 4K screens, 200% may be not enough to make BlueARP as big as you want to. For the 4K screens, it will automatically kind of double the scaling factor, so 100% will be actually 200%, and 200 will be the maximum possible, which is actually 400. But for the sub 4K resolutions, might be handy to set up something like 250 and 300%. And to show you this is FL Studio, and this screen has X resolution about 2700, and you see this is BlueARP running at 200% GUI size, just not big enough, especially if I want to use touch input. So now I will try to set it to 250%, and now you see it's almost perfect fit. So I can use touch input to program the matrix. And dragging also works pretty well here. And right-click menu, it works by long tap here, for example. If I want a number of steps, gives this right-click menu. By the way, please let me know in the comments if you try to use BlueARP with a touch screen, because I don't have such experience. I think now we'll switch to macOS because I did a lot of improvements and testing and bug fixes for macOS users. Now a quick Windows versus Mac check. This is my MacBook M1 Pro 16-inch high-resolution screen, and this is my 4K monitor connected to my PC. And BlueARP running on both in FL Studio, it's on Mac as well, at 125% GUI scaling. So this is BlueARP on Mac, and this is BlueARP on Windows. And they look exactly the same. Before that, on Mac, it looked a bit different because I tried to compensate the absence of clear type on Mac by bolding some fonts, but now since almost everyone has high resolution displays, so yeah. And now switching to my Mac to show you one more exciting thing which I spent quite a lot of time on. It's BlueARP now working in MainStage and in Logic, especially on M1 based MacBooks. I spent quite a lot of time on this. There was a nasty memory bad access error which took me a couple of nights to debug and to fix. And now it should work, and it was confirmed by one user with Mac M1. Here I have MainStage. I replaced classic piano with this retro synth, quite a nice virtual analog emulation actually. So I have BlueARP component installed in my system, and we can now go to Media Effects and pick up our audio units, OMG Instruments, BlueARP. And now I should have kind of popping bottles of champagne, colorful balloons, this kind of stuff, because it really took me a lot of time to make this work. So let's pick up some simple bass preset and check it. I hope I'll find some time to make a separate video on using BlueARP in MainStage. So I think that's it for this tutorial. As usual, thanks for watching and have fun with BlueARP. See you next time.